A divided by B is equal to C divided by D. An example of that would be 4/8. So what would be another ratio that is equal to that ratio? 2/4. Perfect. What's another one? 1/2. So all of missing side lengths of similar, let's underline that 1,000,000 times, polygons. And we'll underline polygons once. Now this whole unit is going to be on similar polygons, but who can tell me what a polygon is? Or what would be an example of a polygon? It's okay if you're wrong. Whatever you think, you've already learned polygons. So what's the first thing that pops into your head? Yes. A what? It has 5 sides, so a pentagon. A pentagon is a polygon. Good. How do we know it's a polygon? Or give me another example of a polygon. A pentagon is one example. Yes, Addie, straight lines. A circle does not have a straight line. It has a curved line, and that's what makes it not a polygon. So a polygon needs to have straight lines or straight sides. All right, so let's put this together. We're going to be using proportions to find missing side lengths of similar polygons. And we'll talk about similarity on the next part of our lesson. But first, we need to learn how to solve proportions. So to solve proportions, this first step is optional. I like to do it because if I don't have to use the calculator, I don't want to use a calculator. And it eliminates a lot of steps at the end, in my opinion. So the first step would be to simplify if possible. And again, this step is optional. And I will admit it's better when we use it on the expressions, and I'll show you guys why. I'll show you both ways. Then, when we have a proportion, we're going to multiply diagonally. I always have a hard time spelling diagonally. Ah, is it an O or an A? And I think I spelled it wrong on my paper too. Diagonally. Diagonally. Is that right? So multiply diagonally, and you guys might have learned it using the butterfly effect, right? So I'm going to put a little example here. A divided by B is equal to C divided by D. And then we're going to cross multiply this and this. So we're going to rewrite it as A times D is equal to B times C. And then the very last step will be to divide by coefficient of variable. Any questions so far? All right, so those, before I forget, because you reminded me, Luis, are you writing down notes? Oh, on your paper. Okay. That's difficult, no? I have some paper over here. Okay. On your desk, there's a blue paper that I want you guys to flip over every time you use that desk, so I know that I need to clean it. So if you can flip yours over, sweetheart. And do you have it flipped over, Josiah? You're not Josiah, you're Josiah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, that blue, yes. Thank you. All right. All right. And then we're going to divide by the coefficient. Here we go. So we're going to start with this first example. We're going to call this example number 1. And we're going to do 4 divided by 8 is equal to V divided by 6. We're not going to simplify for this one because it's the same type of work. Actually, we will. I'm just going to show you. All right, so first let's cross multiply. We've got 4 times 6 equals 8 times v. We multiply, we've got 24 is equal to 8v. And then we divide by the coefficient of the variable, which is 8. So we want to divide by 8, and v is equal to 3. In this little cloud right here, I'm going to do it simplifying the fraction first. So if I were to simplify 4 over 8, I would get 1 over 2. Then we would cross multiply these two. 1 times 6 equals 2 times v. So we get 6 is equal to 2v divided by 2, and we get v is equal to 3. Notice how they're exactly the same thing. You can choose whether or not you want to simplify on the first step. This one really doesn't make a difference. But you do have smaller numbers that you multiply and divide. Questions so far? Okay, let's do another example. We're going to multiply 3 times 6 is equal to 10 times x. Here we get 18, 10x, divide by 10, and we get x is equal to 18 over 10. We always simplify in math, always simplify, always. Always, 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 always simplify. And here we can simplify this. I'm going to rewrite it this way. They're both divisible by 2, so that's 9 divided by 5. So x is equal to 9 divided by 5. Okay, let's move on to the next step. This is the one where I do recommend highly that we simplify. It'll save you a lot of time. All right, so example number 3. We've got x plus 3 as my numerator divided by 2 equals 48 divided by 6. We're going to do it the long way first. Whenever you have an expression, you always want to put parentheses around it. So put parentheses around it first. And now let's multiply. We've got 6 times x plus 3 equals 2 times 48. Questions so far? All right. So now when we have parentheses, what do we have to do with that number on the outside? Starts with a D. Not divide, but distribute. And when we distribute, what do? Multiply. So we're going to do 6 times x. That gives us 6x. And then 6 times 3 gives us 18. Perfect. And then we get 2 times 48. What do we get? 96. And now we just solve for x. What do we have to move when we solve for x? The 18, right? The positive 18. So we want to subtract 18. And we get 6x is equal to 78. And then we want to divide by the coefficient of x, which is 6. We get x is equal to 13. Now we're going to do this one again. But now we're going to simplify that 48 over 6. So x plus 3 divided by 2 equals 48 divided by 6. What is 48 and 6 both divisible by? Can we simplify it? Can we divide both of them by 6? Yeah. When we divide 48 by 6, we get 8, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. So if we rewrite it, we get x plus 3 x plus 3 divided by 2 equals 8 divided by 1. Again, we have an expression as our numerator, so we're going to put parentheses around it. We multiply these two. What's 1 times anything? Yeah, that whatever it is, right? X plus 3. And then 2 times 8 is equal to 16. 1 times that, we end up with x plus 3 is equal to 16. Subtract 3, and x is equal to 13, which is exactly this one. So when you have cases like this, doesn't it look easier to simplify first? Now you don't have to, we end up with the same answer. But if you can identify fractions that can be simplified, it'll make your life easier. If not, there's no problem. Just do it the regular way. All right, we've got one more example. Example number 4. We've got 2n minus 9 divided by n plus 5 equals 7 over 4. We have two expressions, so what do we have to put over the expressions? Or around the expressions? Parentheses. So parentheses for this guy, parentheses for that guy. All right, now we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to multiply these two. We've got 4 times 2n minus 9 equals 7 times n plus 5. So we have parentheses and a number outside, so we're going to use distribution. 4 times 2n is 8n. 4 times negative 9 is negative 36. Don't forget those negatives. And then we've got 7 times n, 7n. 7 times 5 is 35. Oh, you put the 7 first? That's good. So if you wrote it as 7 times n plus 5 equals 4 times 2n minus 9, you'll get the same answer. All right, so now let's solve. Let's move our n. So we're going to move that 7n to the left side. By subtracting it, we get n minus 36 equals 35. And then what do we move? The negative 36 by what? By adding it. So we're going to add 36 to both sides. And we get n is equal to 71. Perfect. Any questions? All right, let's go back to our paired up. All right, let's see where we got stuck. All right, we want to put parentheses around the expression. And we'll first do it without simplifying. So if you did it without simplifying, let's find out where your mistake was. We've got 5 times x plus 4 equals 2 times 50. Divide by 5, and x is equal to 16. Now, if you simplified first, so again, if you tried simplifying, don't do both ways, guys. Pick one. Either simplify or don't simplify, so it doesn't confuse you. We got x plus 4 divided by 2, put parentheses around that expression. And then when we simplify 50 divided by 5, what can we simplify that to? What are they both divisible by? 5, right? So this is 10 over 1. And then we cross multiply here. We get 1 times x plus 4 equals 2 times 10. So x plus 4 equals 20. Subtract 4, x is equal to 16. Same thing. Any questions? All right, so let's go ahead and go to your new Google Classroom.